Okay. So, physiographic aspects, Himalayas, so physiographic units of India, do you remember that? So, within this particular physiographic units of India, okay, so we discussed about, the Himalayas, right? So, after that, let us see the other, physiographic aspects related discussion. Let's complete that. So, do you remember that Himalayas, what about the formation of Himalayas, the young cold mountain systems and other aspects, right? Now, let's see, what about after the Himalayas. So, once again, I will give a short description about the Himalayas so that it will be easy for you as such. So, they are the young folds, mountains, youngest fold mountains in the world or on the planet. They are the loftiest also. They are the loftiest, mountains on the planet Earth. No doubt about that. Fold mountains, youngest fold mountains, loftiest fold mountains on the planet Earth, all are same as such. And I told you, the Himalayas are formed because of the convergence of two plates, right? So the convergence of, the two plates. So what are those two plates, that were converged with each other to form the Himalayas, One is the Indian plate. Remember that the Indian, the Peninsular plate or the Indian plate separated from the ancient Gondwana lands. I told you, right? Last class. So next, the Eurasian plate. Next plate is Eurasian plate. That is Europe plus Asia plate, belonging to the, the Northern Angara lands, not the Gondwana land. Indian plate is Gondwana lands. You remember that? Gondwana lands of Panjab. And this one is belonging to the, Angara lands, Northern Angara land, the of Panjab. Remember this particular diagram, the entire earth is composed of, one landmass, Panjab. Panjab broken into two parts, that is, southern Gondwana lands, south Gondwana land and north Angara lands. And Indian plate is part of, the south Gondwana lands, and Eurasian plate is part of, the north Angara lands, the north Angara land. You remember that? So this is your, the geosyncline gap. This is your geosyncline gap. And into this particular geosyncline gap, the surrounding, Panthalassa waters entered, creating a narrow sea. And the sea, you call it as the Tethys Sea, right? Tethys Sea. And Tethys Sea is full of, marine sediments. So I told you, over a period of time, the Tethys Sea is filled with the, the rivers, and that sediments brought by the land of, southern Gondwana land, Angara land. And Tethys Sea is over a period of time. Initially, it composed of the marine sediments. And later on, this particular marine sediments were added with the riverine sediments. And that's why Tethys Sea sediments are made of marine and riverine sediments. That is what you have to remember at present. Now, these sediments were compressed. Over a period of time. And due to the convergence of the, the two plates, Indian plate and Eurasian plate, and convergence of these Tethys Sea sediments, compressed and resulted in the formation of the fold mountains, youngest fold mountains of, the Himalayas. This is what the Himalayas, the formation of the Himalayas, you have to understand. And one more thing you have to understand, with respect to geography, I told you, the Himalayas, if you see the Himalayas, basically, the Himalayas, they are in the form of the arc shape. They are in the form of the, the arc shape. The form of the arc shape. The Himalayas are in the form of the arc shape, right? And if you see the entire width of this particular Himalayas, it is about 2,400 kilometers length as such, right? It is divided into three sections, One is called as the Greater Himalayas. Second is called as, the Middle Himalayas. Second is called as the Middle Himalayas. And third is called as the Shivaliks. Or Outer Himalayas. Together you call this particular, the entire three sections, Greater, Middle, Shivaliks, which are in the arc shape, as the Himalayas. Right? Now, if you observe very clearly the three sections of the Himalayas, one more, fact that you have to understand is that, so towards its west, and towards the east, there is a difference in the width. So, towards the west, it is 400 kilometer width. You can find it in Jammu and Kashmir. And towards the east, it is not 400 kilometers width. It is just 100 kilometers width only. You can observe it in Arunachal. So what UPSC has asked the question is, okay, consider the following statements. First statement is, the length of the Himalayas is about 2,400 kilometers. Yes, absolutely right. Second statement they have given is that the width of the Himalayas decreases from west to east. The width of the Himalayas decreases from west to east. See the question. Consider the following statements about the Himalayas. Okay. Consider the following statements about the Himalayas. Okay. So as part of the the UPSC question, what they have asked is that about Himalayas. About Himalayas. Okay. In general, they did not use the Indian Himalayas, the Himalayas in India, just Himalayas as four mountains systems as well. First statement they have given is that Himalayas has a maximum length of about 2,400 kilometers. So this is the statement that is directly taken from the NCERT book. You have to understand that. Okay, NCERT book, directly this statement was taken. Second statement what they have asked is that the width of the Himalayas, okay, the width of Himalayas decreases from west to east. The width of the Himalayas, okay, decreases from west to east. It decreases, yes, observe from the diagram. In the west, it is about 400 kilometers width. In the east, it is about 100 kilometers, okay, width only in the Arunachal Pradesh. So obviously, if we observe the width of the Himalayas is decreasing, it is not increasing from west to east, no doubt about that. Okay, the width of the Himalayas increases from east to west. That is the statement. Then that is also wrong. The same statement that is also right. Sorry. Okay, that is also right. Or the same statement they might ask. Okay, or third statement. Okay, you consider it as the third statement. Okay, what they have given, the width of Himalayas, okay, increases from east to west. These are the three statements they have given, and they have asked you to find the select correct codes, select correct code or correct statements out of them. That is what they have. Option A, 1 only. Alright. So option B, they have given 1 and 2 only. Option C, they have given 2 and 3 only. And option D, they have given 1, 2, 3. Now what will be the right answer as such in the UPSC exam? This is the UPSC question. Okay. So the answer is 1, 2 and 3. Understand this. So what is this particular question? What they are trying to ask? Okay, they are trying to test your the analytical skills. They are trying to test your analytical skills from this particular and also the memory recollection skills. Memory recollection skills through such type of the questions asked in the UPSC exam. These are easy. These are easy. Understand that. Okay. So both the statements are right. Okay. But they were written in different ways related to the same thing, that is width of the Himalayas, how it changes from west to east and east to west. Basic understanding. That's it. Okay, written thing. Sometimes you can expect some basic questions also from the in such a manner. Okay. So greater Himalayas. So if you see this particular greater Himalayas, the greater Himalayas. Okay. So they are the the loftiest mountains. The greater Himalayas are the loftiest mountains within the the Himalayan ranges. Within the Himalayan ranges, they are the loftiest mountains, no doubt about that. And if you see this particular the greater Himalayas, they have different names as mentioned in the UPSC, the NCERT books, Himadri. They are also called as inner Himalayas. Why? Because it is very difficult to access this particular the greater Himalayas. Okay, as said, all are same. Greater Himalayas or Himadri or inner Himalayas. Basically, all are same. There is no difference at all. Okay, the loftiest mountains. Okay, right. And these mountains, if you observe, they are continuous mountains. They are continuous. They are not discontinuous. They are continuous chain of mountains. Okay, continuity is there. There is no doubt about that. There is no discontinuity. And if you see this greater Himalayas, if you observe very clearly, right. So the greater Himalayas, the average height of the mountain peaks, the mountain peaks is about 600 meters. Is about 6,000 meters. It is 6,000 meters. Okay, and if you see this, the world's top 10 peaks list, if you take and observe, 8 of the 10 world's top 10 peaks are there in this particular Greater Himalayas. So they are the loftiest mountain peaks on the planet, as no doubt about that. And if you see this, they're full of glaciers. They are full of glaciers. In fact, the Greater Himalayas is called as the abode of glaciers. It is called as the abode of glaciers as such. Understand this, right? So, okay. For example, you have the highest peak on the planet Earth, that is, okay, the Mount Everest is basically part of the Greater Himalayas. The Mount Everest of 8848 meters is basically part of, okay, the Greater Himalayas, not in India, but in Nepal, the highest peak of the planet Earth, or of the Greater Himalayas, right? And if you see, they have mentioned in the NCERT book, what they have said in Dutch. So whatever the folds are there, okay, folds of Greater Himalayas are asymmetric folds, are asymmetric fold. They use this particular word, okay, asymmetric folds. Okay, right? Think the folds of Greater Himalayas are asymmetric in nature or asymmetric folds. So what is a fold? Fold is nothing but like this. So these are, why you are calling them as fold mountains? Fold mountains are, okay, nothing but they are something like fold. So if you just take a cotton cloth and just try to, okay, compress it, or a paper and try to compress it, okay, from both the sides slowly, keeping on a table, the paper will just fold, right? So these are nothing but the fold. And if you observe this particular folds, they are symmetric folds. They are symmetric fold. That means, okay, you can observe all the folds, okay, they are straight, okay, from the center. Symmetric folds. Asymmetric fold means something, okay, so one mountain peak is like this, other mountain peak is, okay, something like this, other mountain peak is, okay, something like this, and other one is, okay, stand straight like this. Okay, so this is symmetric fold, not a symmetric fold. Okay, so they will ask these questions. Okay, Greater Himalayas, okay, they are asymmetrical folded in nature. Absolutely right statement. There is no doubt about that. And one more statement they have given in the NCERT books. Okay, like, okay, the core of Greater Himalayas. That means these are the Greater Himalayas. So you go to the core. That means interior areas. You go to the core. Try to take the rocks and observe the rock in the core of the Greater Himalayas. Basically, the core of the Greater Himalayas comprise of the granite rocks. They comprise of the granite rocks. That is what, okay, this particular, okay, what I call the core of the Himalayas composed of the granite rocks. Okay, writing the things, right? Remember this, okay? So they might ask these two statements also in the future as the questions. Consider the following statements about the Greater Himalayas. Okay, specifically, you should be careful. Himalayas means all the three will come: Greater, Middle, okay, Shivaliks. So only they are asking Greater Himalayas means, okay, what happens, okay? They are asking the question based on the Greater Himalayas. That two statements. Greater Himalayas are having symmetric folds. Okay, no, wrong statement. They are having the asymmetric folds. Second, Greater Himalayas, the core region of the Greater Himalayas comprise of the granite rocks. Yes, absolutely right. Okay, they comprise of the granite rocks. Okay, simple questions they will ask, and you should be in a position to, okay, attempt them, okay, clearly as such. Okay, writing the things. So full of glaciers, okay, full of, okay, the highest peaks of the world. In fact, they themselves are the highest peaks on the planet Earth. That is the the four mountains on the planet Earth. That is the Greater Himalayas, right? And one more thing you have to understand, that the Greater Himalayas are full of Tethys sea sediments. They are full of Tethys sea sediments. Not only Greater Himalayas, okay, Greater Himalayas are full of Tethys sea sediments. Okay, so this statement is applicable to Greater Himalayas. This statement is applicable to Middle Himalayas. Understand that? Okay, writing things. I'm not including the, okay, what you call Shivaliks. Why, or outer Himalayas? There is a reason for that. I will tell you. There is a reason for that. I will tell you. Okay, it is full of Tethys sediments. What are Tethys sediments? Those sediments that are formed, okay, during a Pangea, okay, formation of geosyncline gap and the formation of the Northern Angara land, Southern Gondwana land, something like that. Let us see the, okay, second section of Himalayas. That is what is called as the Middle Himalayas. Okay, second section of the Himalayas, of the Greater Himalayas, parallel mountain ranges, Middle Himalayas. So these Middle Himalayas, they are also called as Himachal Himalayas. They are also called as Himachal Himalayas, or they are also called as Lesser Himalayas. Why they are called as Lesser Himalayas? Why? Because after greater they are present, greater, lesser, like that. Okay. Why they are called as Himachal Himalayas? Why? Because you can understand majority of these Himalayas are part of the Himachal Pradesh state. Why they are called as Middle Himalayas? Why? Because if you see the arrangement of the Himalayas, first you have the Greater Himalayas, then you have the, okay, the middle Himalayas. Third, you have the Shivaliks or outer Himalayas. So that's why they are in the middle of the greater and outer. That's why the middle Himalayas. So names are important. Why they are using those names? That is also important. You have to understand that. Okay. And if you see this particular, what you call the Himachal Himalayas or lesser Himalayas, right? Himachal Himalayas are lesser Himalayas. You can understand very clearly, like what you call the altitude, the average altitude, varies between the average altitude, varies between 3,700 to 4,500 meters. 3,700 to 4,500 meters. But if you compare it with the greater Himalayas, the average altitude varies about or up to 6,000 meters. You have to remember that. That means middle Himalayas are lower in height compared to the greater Himalayas. That is what the conclusion you can draw, right? And if you see the average width is about what you call 50 kilometers. The average width is about 50 kilometers. But if you see the width of greater Himalayas, in the western part it is 400 kilometers, in the eastern part it is 150 kilometers in Arunachal, 400 kilometers in Jammu and Kashmir. And if you see here in Himachal Pradesh, the average width comes to 50 kilometers only. Understand that? Okay. So understand this. And out of this particular greater Himalayas, one more thing you have to understand is that, so I told you, greater Himalayas are continuous chain of mountains, but the middle Himalayas are discontinuous chain of mountains. They are discontinuous. Whatever chain of mountains, not the continuous chain of mountains like the greater Himalayas. Understand that. A discontinuous chain of mountains, not the continuous chain of mountains. You have to catch the points very, very clearly, precisely. Okay, right? And if you see, as they are discontinuous chain of mountains, there are different mountains, like this. Now you might get it out. Why they were discontinued? They were discontinued because of the one major factor, the rivers coming from the greater Himalayas, break the middle Himalayas and just they create the middle Himalayas as discontinuous chain of mountains. So some of the the mountain ranges within the Himachal Himalayas or middle Himalayas, like Pir Panjal. So Pir Panjal range. So Pir Panjal range is part of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh. In both the areas, you can see this Pir Panjal range. And this is the longest range of mountains, longest range of all the discontinuous chain of mountains in the middle Himalayas. As the previous question, they have asked it, Pir Panjal range. Next, you have this particular, the Dhauladhar range. This is Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, Dhauladhar range. Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh. Then you have this particular, what you call the Mahabharat range. Mahabharat range is basically in, the Nepal. Majority of it is in Nepal. Mahabharat range. There are discontinuous chain of mountains belongs to a geographical part of the middle Himalayas. So how a question was asked in the UPSC exam? A question was asked in the UPSC exam in a simple manner, like, what you call, which among the following mountains are not part of, what you call the middle Himalayas? See the question, how they are asking the questions, Questions are also important, not only, understanding the things, but at the same time, from these topics or information, how they are asking the questions, that is also extremely important. Which of the following are not part of middle Himalayas? They're not part of middle Himalayas. That is what the question. Okay. So option A, they have given the Pir Panjal range. Option A, Pir Panjal range. Okay. So option B, Dhauladhar range. Okay. So option C, Mahabharat range. Option C, Mahabharat range. And option D, Ladakh range. Option D, Ladakh range. So if you see, which among the following not part of middle Himalayas? So out of all this particular four, this is an old question of UPSC, not a recent one, very old one as such. So Pir Panjal, Dhauladhar, Mahabharat, they are part of the middle Himalayas, but Ladakh range is not part of the middle Himalayas. Ladakh range is part of Trans-Himalayas. It's part of the Trans-Himalayas. What do you mean by Trans-Himalayas? Trans-Himalayas means beyond the Himalayas. It's nothing but beyond the Himalayas. That means these are the, so you have the greater Himalayas. Beyond the greater Himalayas, you have the, what you call the Trans-Himalayas. You have the Trans-Himalayas. Right? I think we got it. Simple questions they are asking, okay, and you should be in a position to attempt this particular question. And one more important point about this particular, okay, the Himachal Himalayas or Middle Himalayas or Lesser Himalayas is that they are full of valleys. They're full of valleys. They're full of, okay, what I call the glaciers. Full of glaciers. Okay. And they're also full of hill stations. They're also full of, okay, numerous hill stations. Numerous hill stations are also there in this particular, okay, what are they? In Himalayas as such. For example, if you see this particular valley is, okay, the Kashmir Valley. For example, if you see this particular, okay, valley, the Kashmir Valley is part of it. Okay. The Kangra Valley of Himachal Pradesh is part of it. The Kulu Valley of Himachal Pradesh, okay, is part of it. Okay, written the things. And similarly, if you see this particular glaciers like Yamunotri, the source of Yamuna, glaciers like Gangotri, the source of, okay, the Ganga River, they are all part of this particular, okay, Middle Himalayas. And if you see these particular hill stations, okay, the hill stations like, okay, whatever, Almora, the hill stations like Almora, okay, the hill stations like, okay, Dharmashala, the hill stations like, okay, Dharmashala, they're all, okay, the famous hill stations in the Middle Himalayas as such. They both are in Himachal Pradesh. So understand that, okay. So this is how it is, okay. And finally, after the, okay, this particular, okay, the Greater Himalayas and Middle Himalayas, now let's understand about the, okay, whatever, the Shivaliks. Let's understand about this particular Shivaliks. What are these particular Shivaliks? Let's understand about the Shivaliks. Shivaliks are nothing but the, okay, what I call the outer Himalayas. They are also called as outer Himalayas. The Shivaliks are called as outer Himalayas. And this is extremely important. Second point, very, very important. Shivaliks are fluvial in origin. Or fluvial in nature. Okay, right in the things. So, that means what? They are not the result of plate tectonics. That is compression of the, okay, the 3C sediments resulted in the formation of the fold motifs of Greater Himalayas and Middle Himalayas. Okay, they are the, okay, what you call the result of process of plate tectonics, not directly related with the plate tectonics. Okay, so I will make you understand easily. Okay, definitely it will be a little bit confusing. So this is Greater Himalayas. Understand this. This is Greater Himalayas. Now, what I told you, the rivers are coming from the Greater Himalayas. Okay, so right, and these rivers, they dissected the Middle Himalayas. The Middle Himalayas broken into different parts like this. This is Middle Himalayas. These are rivers coming from the Greater Himalayas. Numerous rivers. Okay, that is correct. Now, what happened is that now these rivers, they erode the sediment. They erode the sediments of Greater Himalayas and Middle Himalayas. And these rivers, what they do is that they bring all the sediments and they deposit all these particular sediments at the foothills of Middle Himalayas. At the foothills of Middle Himalayas, these sediments were deposited. So these are nothing but the sediments. What type of sediment they are? They are fluvial sediments. Fluvial means river. Okay, these sediments are borne by the action of the rivers from the Greater Himalayas and Middle Himalayas, and all these sediments were deposited here. In the Middle Himalayas, right? Now, in future, what happens is that over a period of time, as the plate tectonics is continuing, that is, Indian plate is converging with the Eurasian plate. So what happened is that this particular, okay, whatever the sediments, fluvial sediments are there, okay, that are deposited in the foothills of Middle Himalayas, at the foothills of Middle Himalayas. So these sediments were compressed. These fluvial sediments were compressed. So why they were compressed? They were compressed because of the movement of the Indian plate toward the Eurasian plate, or simply use the word plate tectonics. Because of the plate tectonics, these particular sediments were compressed. And as the sediments got compressed, okay, at the foothills of the Middle Himalayas, the sediments were compressed. Now what happened? This has happened. What is that? Now this has happened. This particular, okay, sediments were compressed to form, okay, what is called as Shivaliks. To form the Shivaliks. So that's why we say Shivaliks is a fluvial in origin. Shivaliks is fluvial in origin. Understand this. And coming to this particular, okay, the Shivaliks. Coming to this particular Shivaliks, other important points related with this particular Shivaliks as such. Third major part about the Shivaliks is that, so if you see this particular Shivaliks, their width is very, very, okay, narrow, 10 to 50 kilometers width you can observe between this particular range, width range. And if you see their altitude range is also limited, just 900 meters to 1100 meters altitude, not much altitude as such. And at 1100 meters is a small altitude, not a great altitude compared to 6000 meters of greater Himalayas, or compared to, okay, the 4000 meters of mini Himalayas. This is smaller, no doubt about that. Okay, right, things, right? This is about the, okay, what I call this particular, okay, what I call the Shivaliks, this particular, okay, the Shivaliks, right? So remember these particular points, okay, very clearly. Remember these particular points about this particular, okay, three aspects of, okay, what I call the Himalayas, the three, okay, the broad physical divisions of this particular Himalayas, right? Shivaliks. So that means, so when you're studying the Himalayas, means when you are studying about the Himalayas, you have to, okay, study the asymmetrical greater Himalayas. You will be, okay, studying about the discontinuous middle Himalayas, and also you will be studying about the, okay, the fluvial in origin Shivaliks. Together this particular, okay, all these, okay, three clubbed together, you call it as the Himalayas as such. And Himalayas, okay, if you see these particular Himalayas, right? If you see this particular, okay, the Himalayas as such, okay. So there are, okay, the different, okay, versions for this particular Himalayas, okay, as such, okay. For example, if you see this particular, okay, the Himalayas, there is also regional division of Himalayas. Regional division of Himalayas. Division of Himalayas. And this division is called as longitudinal division. Longitudinal division of Himalayas. Longitudinal division of Himalayas, or this is also called as parallel division of Himalayas. This is also called as parallel division of Himalayas. Parallel, okay, division of Himalayas. Parallel division of Himalayas. So I think you are able to understand. Okay, longitudinal division of Himalayas or parallel division of Himalayas. Let's see the regional division of Himalayas. Regionally, that means people in different places, how they call this, okay, the Himalayas with different names. Let's understand this, okay, with different names. Let's understand this, okay, in a simple manner as such. So whatever the Himalayas are located between Indus River and Satluj River, between Indus River and Satluj River, these Himalayas are called as Punjab Himalayas. These Himalayas are called as Punjab Himalayas. In some of the textbooks, they are also called as Kashmir Himalayas. In some of the textbooks, they are also called as Kashmir Himalayas. Okay. And the rivers located between, the Himalayas located between the Satluj River and the Kali River. Kali River coming from the Nepal, okay, and entering into the Uttar Pradesh. These are called as, okay, what I call these are called as the Himalayas, okay, present between the Kali and also the, okay, what I call Satluj. They are called Kumaon Himalayas. Kumaon region is part of, okay, Uttarakhand. The people of Uttarakhand, they call it as, okay, Kumaon Himalayas. People of, okay, the Punjab, okay, they call it as the Punjab Himalayas between the Indus and, okay, whatever the Satluj as such. And whatever the Himalayas are present between the Kali River and Teesta River, okay, Kali River and Teesta River, they are called as Nepal Himalayas. Kali River and Teesta River. So Teesta River, okay, Teesta River coming from Sikkim, basically, okay, the lifeline of Sikkim, Teesta River. And this is called as, this particular, okay, the regional division of Himalayas, you simply call it as Nepal Himalayas. You simply call it as Nepal Himalayas. Okay. Okay. People call it as Nepal Himalayas as such. And between the Teesta River and the Dihang River in Arunachal Pradesh, River Dihang. Okay. In Arunachal Pradesh, this is called as Assam Himalayas. See here. Okay. Assam Himalayas. This is how you try to understand in a simple manner. This is what is regional division of Himalayas. Simple question they have asked, like, okay. So the Himalayas located between Indus and Satluj are called as Punjab Himalayas. The Himalayas located between Satluj and Kali River, Kumaon Himalayas. The Himalayas located between Kali and Teesta, Nepal Himalayas. The Himalayas located between Teesta and Dibang, They are, okay, Bihang. Okay, Dibang is also there in Arunachal, but it is Bihang, okay. Assam, Himalayas. This is nothing but the regional division of the Himalayas. Nothing much, all are same. Okay. Whether you study the latitudinal division or parallel division or the regional division, you are basically studying about the Himalayas itself and nothing else. Okay, written things, right? And nothing else. Okay. So if you see this particular Himalayas, you have to understand few more things. You have to understand few more things. So what are these things? So I don't know. The Himalayas, they are in the arc shape. The Himalayas, okay, they are in the arc shape, 2,400 kilometers arc shape like this, right? Okay, so they are extending from, okay, what about the Nanga Parbat? They are extending from Nanga Parbat, okay? So Nanga Parbat in Pakistan occupied Kashmir it presents, and okay, to Namche Barwa, to, okay, what about the Namche Barwa in Tibet, to Namche Barwa in Tibet. Okay, written things. So this is the arc-shaped Himalayas. Now what happens is that at Namche Barwa, so whatever the Himalayas is there, this particular Himalayas, it will take at Namche Barwa, catch the points very clearly, at Namche Barwa, it will take a syntaxial bend, and say it will take a bend. So this particular bend, okay, this is called geologically as syntaxial bend. Syntaxial bend. Okay, so at this particular bend, the Himalayas, okay, whatever, they will take a southward, okay, whatever, okay, the journey, and they will, okay, traverse southwards. Okay, writing things. And the question comes, why syntaxial bend happened here itself? Why not in the middle section somewhere here, or why not here, something like that? Why only the syntaxial bend happened here? There is a strong reason for that. So we all know that Himalayas are formed because of the convergence of the Indian plate with the Eurasian plate as such. Now what happens is that when the Indian plate is converging with the Eurasian plate, okay, that's the point. But the Indian plate is converging with the Eurasian plate, okay, what you call? So in the interior areas, in the crust interior areas, in the interior areas of the deeper layers of the crust, so there are huge rocks. So these are called as intrusive. These are called as intrusive igneous rocks. Intrusive igneous rocks. So because of this particular intrusive igneous rocks, what happens is that the Himalayas take a syntaxial bend and it travels, okay, what you call southward, and it travels southwards. And these Himalayas which are traveling southward, they are called as Purvanchal Himalayas. They are called as Purvanchal Himalayas, or Purvanchal Hills, or Purvanchal Himalayas. Understand these points, okay, very clear. Understand these points, okay, very clear.
They lost that.
Right?
It's actually into time. Then I couldn't find the tail in the middle of the street. Trying to like but I believe it.
Okay. And Purvanchal Hills, so they composed of, okay, what are called the sedimentary rocks.
And yeah, no problem. Even I ordered and me. Best friend to one and
They composed of sedimentary rocks of, okay, what are called the sandstones, right? So Purvanchal Hills. And if you see this particular Purvanchal Hills, they have different names. They have, okay, Purvanchal Hills. Okay. So they are also called as, okay, what are called the Northeast Hills. They are also called as the Northeast, okay, what are called the hills. So they are divided into various divisions. They are divided into various divisions like, okay, the Mizo Hills, okay, the Naga Hills, okay.
Then I read on the theory.
Mizo Hills, Naga Hills, Lushai Hills, okay, something like that.
I'm with me.
Lushai Hills, Tripura Hills, Tripura Hills, okay, Patkai Bang, different, okay, regional division, Patkai Bang, okay, like that. And you will be totally surprised. So where they are present, if you see the India map, this is the India map. So you have the Himalayas, this section is basically the Himalayas. So if you see this is Himalayas, they are the Purvanchal Hills. These are, okay, whatever I am writing in yellow color, this line, this is nothing but the Purvanchal Hills. And you will be totally surprised, these Purvanchal Hills, they further extend downwards. These Purvanchal Hills, they further extend downwards into the, okay, Bay of Bengal as such, okay. And some of the sections of this particular Purvanchal Hills, got submerged, and some of the sections of the Purvanchal Hills raise above the mean sea level. And those Purvanchal Hills which are raised above the mean sea level, they are basically our Andaman Nicobar Islands. They are basically our Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Andaman Nicobar Islands. They are the the unsubmerged parts of Purvanchal Hills and Bay of Bengal. Unsubmerged parts of Purvanchal Hills. Was Purvanchal Hills in the Bay of Bengal. Unsubmerged parts of Purvanchal Hills in Bay of Bengal, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Right? So remember these things very clearly. Again, these things will come as such. About the this thing. So this is about the the Himalayas. Today we discussed about the basically now what we do is that last two classes we went beyond the NCERT books. So what the management said is that strictly stick to the NCERT books. What I will do is that I will stick only to the NCERT books, and we will be discussing about the NCERT book related topics only and the content only. So once this is done, if you are very well versed with this, what happens is that the idea is anyhow you will be listening to civil services classes also. When you are listening to the civil services classes, the value addition points or the extra points will be discussed in the class based on this particular the basic information of the NCERT. That means same Himalayas only, but the thing is that in a much more detailed manner. Much more detailed manner. For example, the understanding of plate tectonic theory in a detailed manner. We will do that in the So what we do is that we stick ourselves to the the NCERT content only. That's why this all the content whatever I discussed today is precisely based on the NCERT. That means within the NCERTs, within the presence of NCERTs only we discuss about this particular text. Now next class what I will do is that I will try to conclude this particular chapter in the tomorrow's class, the next class, and whatever the classes I take for NCERT class 9 geography, strictly I will restrict myself completely to that particular book content only. So like this we complete 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, so that you will have a very strong basics in this particular area. So once strong basics were there, then obviously what I can say that you will be easily understanding the advanced concepts from this particular area in the future when you prepare for the the civil service examination. Exclusively the civil examination as such. So this is how it is. This is how it is. Thank you very much. This is how it is. Thank you. Very much. With respect to this further. The classes that we are taking up. Thank you very much. Have a nice day and study well.